Hi, my name is May, and this is a commented version of my current world record 90% speedrun for Baldur's Gate 3. 90% means our goal is to reach any of the game's endings as fast as possible, and we're allowed to use any bugs and glitches to get there. Before the run, we'll quickly go over our choices in character creation. We use Gale as our origin character since he has a special interaction in the game's second act that allows us to trigger an early ending. His default wizard class is perfect for a speedrun since it gives us access to all 4 of the spells we'll need to use for this run: Fog Cloud, Enhanced Sleep, Chromatic Orb, and Magic Missile. Enhanced Sleep is used since it increases our jump distance by a massive 300%. By using this, Gale is able to jump absolutely insane distances, with much higher speed than if you were walking. Leapfrogging everywhere is thus the preferred method of transportation for the run. We also play the game on the balance difficulty. This is because we need to manipulate our party's HP values to 0 a few times, and by playing the game unbalanced, we have less HP, which makes the process faster. Lastly, here's a quick rundown of the ability scores we use. We take 17 Strength since your jump distance increases with Strength, 15 Dexterity since we need to roll high in Initiative, letting us take our turn sooner in combat, 16 Intelligence since that gives us access to 4 prepared spells at a time, and the rest of our stats are all dumped to 8 since they aren't used in the run. With all that background out of the way, let's get into the speedrun. Baldur's Gate 3 begins with your character being kidnapped onto an alien ship by brain-eating monsters called Mind Flayers, who infect you with a brain-eating parasite. Gale doesn't have time for that and immediately becomes the Incredible Hulk with Enhanced Sleep, giving him more than enough jump distance to clear the entire first room in 2 jumps. We then get in position for the first major glitch of the run. By dashing and jumping into a wall, we manage to clip through the wall into the final area of the tutorial Nautiloid. Our goal is to activate the ship's transponder at the end of the room so that we can escape. We dash one more time, stacking the movement speed bonus with the dash from earlier, and then run forward a bit before jumping straight to the transponder to finish the Nautiloid. This is our first loading screen, and because of the size of the game, Baldur's Gate 3 can have some pretty long loading times. Since load times vary wildly depending on your PC hardware, all speedruns for the game exclude loading times from the final time in order to ensure fairness for runners on worse PCs. At this point in the game's story, the ship crash lands, and it's your goal to find a way to remove your brain parasite. Dropping the Revivify scroll from our inventory, we start setting up for a glitch called shadowboxing. By attempting to move an item to an invalid position, we set a node. Certain containers can then be glitched to launch towards that node, bypassing all collision checks and all checks for whether it's a valid position. We can combine this with another glitch that allows dead companions to trigger cutscenes in order to effectively teleport our party extremely long distances so long as there is a cutscene at the destination. Making our way over to Shadowheart, she generously volunteers to be our magician's assistant. We mash through her dialogue and then perform the HP manipulation I mentioned earlier in order to get her body in our inventory. The closest containers we can use for shadowboxing are found at camp, so we go there to retrieve them. Since dead companions can't trigger cutscenes from the container, we need to make sure it breaks upon arrival to release Shadowheart, so by setting it on fire, we make it so that the second tick of the burning status destroys the box. Once it's lit, we launch Shadowheart towards the mountain pass. Because the game has no idea how to handle a dead Shadowheart triggering a cutscene she should be alive for, the game resurrects her and forces a long rest. While we sleep, Gale's cat shows up to tell him to eat a magic ring, which we'll chow down on later. Now alive, Shadowheart is able to walk through the mountain pass entrance, automatically taking the whole party with her. There's also some brief dialogue here involving Shadowheart's artifact, but we just mash through it and ignore it. Upon loading in, we take control of Gale again to use Magic Missile on some NPCs in camp so that we can skip some otherwise mandatory dialogue. We munch on the ring, and then it's off to bed.
It shall be done.
While sleeping, Gale encounters the god of the Forgotten Realms. We're allowed to customize the appearance of this character in character creation, and so it's tradition in the Baldur's Gate speedrunning community for us to one-up each other by making the most hideous characters possible. Waking up, we pre-buff our jumps again for the next area, and then leave for the mountain pass. Because we only have to get one character to the next area transition for our party to advance, we opt to get Gale there while leaving Shadowheart behind. We'd normally have to fight a pack of ghouls on this route, but by casting Fog Cloud, we're able to obscure their vision and avoid triggering a fight. Leaping through the cloud, we make our way to Elminster, Gale's mentor. For some background, Gale is currently suffering from a magical bomb implanted in his chest that he accidentally put there in an attempt to oppress the goddess of magic. Elminster tells Gale that he needs to nuke himself in order to destroy the game's antagonist, the Cult of the Absolute, ending the game early. As speedrunners, we're all too happy to oblige, so we make our way to the next area to go do exactly that. We break our legs jumping down the hill, and then it's on to the Shadow-Cursed lands to go finish the game. While we load in, a quick thank you to everyone on the CRPG Speedrunning Discord server for helping make this run possible. They found a lot of the tricks we use, and it couldn't have been done without them. As soon as we load in, we mash through some dialogue with the goblins so we can get back to doing some HP manipulation on Shadowheart. This is so that we can set up for another shadow box that will teleport us directly to the end of the game. Using Chromatic Orb, we set up our fire again before lighting up our crate and putting Shadowheart inside. Dragging the chest as if we were to throw it, we attempt to move it to a very specific invalid pixel over this cliff, setting our node inside the final area of Act 2. Once our node is set, we launch Shadowheart, who is then able to trigger the final cutscene. Since she's dead and can't speak, Gale takes the lead and we blow him up to trigger the end of the game in 3 minutes and 43 seconds. Thanks for watching, and thanks to my patrons for supporting me on Patreon. Wow, what a cool list!